couple with a brick, brew and a friend, bleed orange and blue to the bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
We are DNVR, and we are live from the confused and spooky Winner's Lounge.
Hey!
Can I get a air horn? There we go. There we
Nobody
go.
ever asked me for an air horn. It's always a boat horn.
Can we get a boat horn?
Honk.
There we go.
Feels fitting after what was a very interesting game. And of course, this Winner's Lounge presented by MSU Denver. msudenver.edu/online, where you can scope out all they have to offer. 750 total classes, 45 plus online and hybrid programs. And as you guys know, there's no better place to get an education while working a full-time job, because MSU Denver students work twice as many hours as students attending any other Colorado institution. The Denver Broncos are 500, 8 games into the season.
They're back, baby.
And nobody knows how to feel about it. This has been a very weird day. One of the weirder days I've had covering the Denver Broncos, because even after they just won the game, it feels like they're 0-8.
And it feels like people want massive change.
And we're going to get all into that. And we have so much to talk about just because of how weird this was. I mean, the day starts, we're taking the party bus in. Full disclosure, not as packed as the party bus normally is, which I was like, couldn't tell if that was our fault or what. And as we hit Colfax and we're coming up on Federal, and you see the stadium and you see the lots, it's a ghost town, no Halloween pun intended. And
Kind of intended.
I was
That's tough to believe.
shooketh. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes, guys. More empty parking spots than I've ever seen by a factor of like 10. Usually, I know we get there early. It's 3 hours before the game. Usually packed full. Smoke billowing from either grills or people's mouths. Drinks pouring, people having fun, and it was dead. Absolutely dead. And that was like my first, this is going to be a weird day. And of course, we have fun at the tailgate, all that good stuff. Then you get a really weird game in which I don't even feel like Broncos fans are happy that the team won the game. So, Henry, let me just toss to you to get you introduced. Of course, Henry Chisholm, who covers the Buffs on a full-time basis for us, joining us on the post-game show today. How are you feeling? Like, take me inside your mind.
Oh, boy. I'm not sure you want that.
Yeah, you sure?
I mean, coming into the game, what did we expect? We expected it to be ugly. We thought they should beat this team, right? But also, I mean, I didn't put any money on them. And that's the first time that's ever happened since betting became legal here.
You should have.
And I should have. Well, eventually I did. They were plus 150 there in like the third quarter, and that obviously hit. But, it's tough to imagine a world where they went out there and put up 42 points. Like, it's not like that could have been the
42
expectation.
is asking a lot, but this is a team that was giving up 30 points a game, the worst pass defense in the NFL, the worst points defense in the NFL. So I think it was fair to expect 20, 21, 24.
Too much. Too much.
My big thought is this. The Broncos had lost 4 games in a row. I'm not going to be picky about what the win looks like.
I love it.
They went into that game saying, we need to win a game. They won the game, and here we are. It's 4-4. That doesn't look as good as it did at the start of the day when there was there was one team that was at 500. That was the first team out of the playoffs on the AFC side. Everybody else under 500. Bad other results. I know it sounds crazy to talk about the playoffs, but you look at it and say, hey, 9 games left. Win 5, you've got a chance. And they put themselves back to right there where they're alive. The season is alive. I'm
so glad you're here.
I know.
Because this perspective is needed. It's not how I feel. I don't think it's how Zach feels.
Yeah.
I don't think it's how chat feels, but it's a legitimate place to be. The Broncos have all of their goals right in front of them. There's nothing preventing them from that other than themselves.
Yeah, like there's no way it can actually happen, right? like that's we all think it, but it is
But you're
technically
right in the
possible,
sense
and they
that-
can say that they're playing for it. 538 says they have a 23% chance of making the playoffs.
It's insane. At one point, it was like 75, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Zach, give me your perspective because I feel it must be very different than
Well, I
Henry's.
mean, Hank says, the season's still alive, and, he falls off when saying it. I mean, as optimistic as you are, Hank, you can't even buy that because what a lot of people are saying is, why is this coaching staff still alive as the Denver Broncos staff right now? And that's kind of the feelings around this is what the happened at the end of the game. What happened throughout the game? The defense didn't play as good as the 10 points per game would suggest. The offense obviously didn't play good, only putting up 17 points, 13 points less than the football team is averaging giving up at home. Taylor Heineke almost came back and beat you. And boy, I mean, it just feels like it was a win. But was a win actually good for this team and the future of the team? And that's really the feeling that I'm getting from people on Twitter.
Yeah, and I think in defense of the other side, I think it's a little too early for that. But people are so conditioned to be thinking that way after 5 years.
Ryan, do the Broncos need change from what you've seen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then do you think there will be change in the next 24 hours before next week's game?
I think there could be.
Will there be?
If I had to bet on it, no.
Okay, so do you think there would have been if the Broncos would have lost this game? Let's say Taylor Heineke throws a touchdown at the end, go
there
for
you
2,
go.
win. So yes?
Yeah.
So then I don't think it's too early to
Okay.
be talking about that. Now, I'm not talking about in terms of draft pick, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about in terms of changes that so many people think need to happen. I think those just got pushed off a week or two.
All right, well, let's get into who may need to go. And that brings up, Kale, our first costume change here on Halloween. No, it's me.
But you don't want this.
Oh, you're getting
I've got
spooky.
this.
Okay.
All right. I am the Grim Reaper.
You
You
sure
look
are.
Scary. I don't want candy from your house.
So I have the power to off anyone as the Grim Reaper. And it has to be Pat Shurmur. The man's got to go. He's got to go now. You get away with it, right? You end up winning a game in which you score 17 points. But Zach, how many times have I said you need 24 points to win a football game? And you, as the offensive coordinator, don't get to be graded based off what the defense did. You are graded about what your offense did, and your offense was uninspiring, anemic, unexplosive, and lucky to win the football game. So to me, while you're right, they might be the way you guys are looking at me, you just can't take me seriously. While you're right that they
You look like
may
an
be
egg.
able to put this off, it shouldn't be. The offense failed today, and they failed spectacularly in every facet except for the fact that they did get that game-winning touchdown drive. I thought that was a clutch drive from Teddy Bridgewater in that offense. But 17 points against the worst defense, scoring defense, the worst passing defense in the NFL is not okay.
And just nothing looked good. When they were playing, it didn't look good. When you look at the stats, it didn't look good. And Ryan, I think Vic Fangio agrees with you,
Ooh.
especially with that very last drive. And after the game, it gave me a little bit of, I don't want to say hope, but I think Broncos fans would say hope, that maybe he will make a change in the next 24 hours, because when he was talking after the game about that last drive, guys, he said, the very first thing he said in his press conference was, the absolute worst word you can use to describe that drive, you can use it to talk about what happened in that Broncos last drive.
Oh,
And then,
the last drive.
right. And then he went on to say it was an
Wait,
awful...
did he say the word?
No, he said the worst word you can think of to describe it, you can use that word.
The worst word I can think of doesn't describe it.
So then he went on to give a few words used to describe it. He said it was awful, terrible, terrible series for us. And he said all, and this was really throwing the coaches out there. He said all of the offensive staff thought that boot would be a good idea and would work out. All of the offensive staff thought that boot, when Teddy threw the incompletion, which was just such
He
a
threw
stupid
them
idea.
straight under the
He
bus.
said
Yeah.
all
He's
of
the Grim
the
Reaper.
all of the yes,
entire
Vic Fangio was the Green Reaper after this. He said everyone on the offensive staff or all of the offensive staff thought that was a good idea. Now maybe he was just referring to Pat Shurmur, but he did use the word all. So just throwing everyone under, and then of course Melvin also has to hold on to the ball. He took that after the game on himself.
Of course he did. He fumbled the ball.
Yeah. And guys, two plays before,
bad.
Javonte Williams fumbled the ball.
Yes.
The Broncos were lucky.
That's
that
why
they
Melvin
fell
got to
on
go
it.
in.
Exactly.
I could not believe my eyes.
Either time.
Yes, the announcer literally said, I don't know why Javonte Williams is in there. Melvin Gordon has gone 217 straight
Oh
carries
my
without a fumble.
gosh. And then boom, there it goes.
What was the
How-
biggest surprise? Either one of the fumbles are an option. Also, them throwing the football.
Okay, so the first fumble, it's excused, I think. Like, it's definitely not the biggest surprise.
Okay.
It's a failure, obviously, by Javonte Williams. The second one, you expect a veteran quarterback to understand how the end of the game works. The
It's
goal
timed.
of those situations is to take away their timeouts. You are like, so of course, yeah, do the boot. I'm cool with that. I don't hate the play call, but your quarterback has to know if it's not there, slide. We don't care about the yardage. We care about the timeouts and the clock. So pump, slide.
Oh, pumping. A lot of pumping.
Yeah, pump it up. And to me, though, what was your question? What's the worst one?
Which one most surprising?
By far the most surprising is Melvin Gordon fumbling the ball on third down.
He does that, though.
But
Yeah.
everything that's just happened.
I think it's the boot, Hank.
I think it might be. The
boot
decision to throw the
what's
football.
more shocking is
no way.
because
Everything's going wrong. All you have to do is just put both hands on the ball and run into someone.
But we've seen it before.
it's true. It's true.
At the same time, like having it happen right after another fumble,
Right.
it is kind of
Right.
shocking just to see
Yes.
2 fumbles in
The
3
ball on
plays
the
in
ground
any
again.
circumstance.
So one thing that I saw
first
was
contact.
people were saying that the Broncos should have just kneeled it 3 times and then punted it. No, that wasn't the right thing
First
to do.
game, a first down ends the game. But I will say, after
Exactly.
the first fumble, you maybe think about it.
That is so weak. Talk about so weak. Talk about everyone crushing. That's a John Fox move
you
right
lose,
there.
Yeah,
And John
yeah.
Fox was in the stadium today, so that is a John Fox move that would not be recepted well
He was
at all.
probably turning to his buddies. He's like, see?
Imagine what that stadium would do. If they saw it, they'd be booing, right?
God,
Yes.
Like, what-
I don't even
what
know if
is
I'd be able
this?
to hear it, guys.
You can't do it.
At
It was
that-
better than what happened.
At that
but
point,
that's hindsight.
half the stadium was gone already.
True.
When there was 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the game, and they were driving. The football team was driving to tie it up. This is crucial. The game is nowhere close to over. Over half the stadium was gone, guys.
Had to start doing their
It was
makeup.
crazy.
Okay, so
It's a big night.
Just to go back, because we're
They
gonna come
had
back.
to get their outfits ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to just.
Almost break the glass.
I don't think this
Don't
is
do
breaking
that.
any glass. Do you guys agree with me? Pat Shurmur should be out of a job tomorrow.
I agree that he should be. I will also say that, like, when's the last time a coordinator's been fired from a 500 team?
After a win
After a win on
on
a 500 team.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
It's just
If
tough to
Mace
imagine.
was here, he would say, in the words of former athletic director at Florida, Jeremy Foley, what will be done eventually must be done immediately.
And when does that happen in real life?
Like, when does that
It doesn't.
actually?
Yeah, it doesn't happen. It doesn't
Because if that was
happen.
true, Vic Fangio would be out too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Teddy Bridgewater wouldn't be the quarterback either. They wouldn't have any
They
quarterbacks.
wouldn't have
They
a
might
lot
not
of
show
people
up
on
to the
there.
All
next
right,
game.
let's. We're gonna go back to this late game abject failure here, but first it's time for another costume change.
Do we have any music for a costume change?
I don't know. Can you get Can you get Mr. Stevens his costume? There we go.
Wow. Does it suit me well, guys?
Make sure you get him his gavel as well.
Oh my gosh, am I doing a full
kinda
costume
spoiler.
change right now?
Does everyone know what that is?
How's it look, guys?
It looks great.
How am I looking? Am I looking good? Thank you.
I think we'll skip the mariachi. All right, we're coming back to our next
think it looks
Halloween
good on me.
costume.
That looks
It
great.
is presiding over the court this
Ooh.
evening.
What a court word.
Mr. Judge Stevens, all rise.
Judge Judy.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
If it wasn't for these microphones, I might have done it. Judge, today we come before you with an interesting case, as there are many, many suspects. But what we need you to determine, your Your Honor.
You can call me Highness.
Your
as well.
Highness.
Yeah.
That's for later.
Your Highness.
Your Highness key is who is guilty of the late game absolute embarrassment? Judge, we must know.
Well, I think we've already offed him, so I don't even. I don't think we need to judge for this one. The verdict is
Really?
in. Yes.
Oh, you can't be proven guilty if you aren't alive.
Right.
At least in the state of Colorado.
So let's bring him back. Wow. Okay. We're getting
Maybe
legal
I'm thinking
now.
of a different state, but
Guys, I mean, it's Pat Shermer, or should I say, the entire offensive staff. As Vic would say, they're all guilty.
they're all guilty.
They're all guilty.
I mean, Vic is kind of our inside source here as the jury,
Pretty good source.
and he absolutely snitched.
He was furious at them after the game. Absolutely furious.
How does that even work? There's like 7 of them. Like does Pat walk up to each one of them individually
Right.
and
Poor
say
Zach
like,
Azadi.
hey,
Right,
I'm
right.
thinking right here we're going to do a bootleg. What do you think? Individually, like they all got
They
together
took a
and decided,
vote
like
before each play.
everybody agreed.
On the
Like,
sideline, that's
All
why
in favor
everyone
of the
was
bootleg
holding their
say
hand up.
aye.
all right, so there's 40 seconds left. We should probably run the ball on first down, right? Yeah, let's all run. Second down, a pass? Yeah,
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
Make sure,
okay.
make sure he throws it too.
Yeah, make sure you get that ball out. It can't be taking a sack in that situation. So why Pat Shermer, Judge?
Well, because Vic put him on blast, and guys, right after the game ended, I thought the exact same thing that Hank said is no coordinator is going to be fired after a win and you're 500, especially in October going into November. You have a little bit of momentum, something you haven't had in a month. Yet your head coach comes. So I thought 0%. Then your head coach comes out and says that, and I thought maybe there is a chance. So I would still be surprised if we woke up to news of Pat Shermer's out. But I wouldn't be totally shocked now anymore. And I just don't know how you make the decisions that he did there. How do you throw the ball and not, or how do you run that play and not tell Teddy 5 times when you
It's
can
not
talk
there,
to
go
him?
down. If
Yes.
it's not there, go down.
Yeah, not even run. Take a sack. Fall down. Tuck the ball. 2 hands.
Yeah.
How is that message not preached over and over again?
I don't know, but I'm actually putting 3 separate players away for murder here. Actually, it wasn't murder.
Attempted.
It was attempted murder.
Yes.
But that's still
Manslaughter.
Yeah, it was a attempted murder of a potential win. And I love putting it on the coaches. But the coaches can't make you hold on to the football, and they can't make you make the right decision in the moment. Now, they can coach you to do so. And I would just, like, maybe I'm giving them too much of the benefit of the doubt. I would like to believe that Teddy Bridgewater, at some point along his long football career, which has been better than 99.999% of anyone else's football career in history,
Yeah, much better than mine.
I would think at some point in his career he was taught that.
Yeah.
And it just left him in the moment. So Javonte Williams, guilty, attempted murder. I'm not the judge, but this is me making my case for my clients who are the listeners. Teddy Bridgewater, guilty, attempted murder. And Melvin Gordon, guilty of attempted murder. There is no coach that can say, don't fumble and be right every time. Like, of course, everyone knows not to fumble the ball. That was embarrassing by all 3 guys on 3 consecutive plays. How are you not on high alert thinking like, all right, I got to make sure I do the right thing because we almost just blew it just now. Speaking of blowing it and blew it, 2 missed field goals, which if those went through, that last fumble,
Blocked.
Would have been the game.
that's true, blocked field goals.
Yeah,
Just to
that's true.
get some
True.
credit.
Yeah, but he was kicking it very low.
He was.
He
And he has a
was.
history of
He
those
blew
things
it.
happening.
Yes, he blew it.
Did you get what I did
So
there?
yeah,
Pun
so
intended.
to me this
Yeah.
is multiple accomplices in an attempted murder, and all 3 need to be put away.
There we go. Well, 4. Let's toss the coaching in. 'Cause
All right,
Vic did.
yeah,
The head
let's
coach tossed him in.
Right?
Yes.
They were. It was premeditated.
Yeah.
It was premeditated.
That is not on correctly at all.
I don't
It's
even know
so
how
great.
this goes.
Oh my God! All right, that
Off with it.
that is.
Oh, no.
I'm like having a hard time comprehending what we saw at the end there.
It was, that was pretty unbelievable.
There's bad, and then there's like no professional football team should ever have this happen to them bad.
No. Yeah, exactly. And guys, what will we be talking about if they lost? If they lost that game
Yeah.
because of that. Just think about that. Now we're talking about Pat Shermer is definitely gone tomorrow, right? Or
Vic.
it's like actually over 50% chance that he's fired tomorrow.
Yes.
So it was the defense that saved him.
Yep. Very lucky.
Yep.
Very lucky. All right, last thing we have to get to here. It doesn't necessarily need a costume change, but as the king,
What did you
I'm
make
stepping
yourself
down.
the king?
I'm stepping down.
Wow.
And I must pass on, what do you call this? The king's staff?
Yeah, it's not a baton. Yeah, staff
Scepter?
is good. Yeah.
Ooh, it
scepter
is a
makes
scepter.
It means like
It
some
is a
magic,
scepter.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The king's staff must be passed on to the DraftKings king of the game,
Ah.
who is, of course, Justin Simmons. We've been waiting for it, guys. We've been waiting for him to have a breakout performance, and he brought it today. He absolutely brought it. Of course, the first interception, that's a Hail Mary. It's a nice little stat patter. But when you're playing well, good things come to you.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing well in the first half. He gets that interception, and he just turns it up to the next level in the second half. The play, I want to say it was second down, when he comes down hard on the flat route and just nails him right there in the flat for no gain.
Immediately
I
makes
think
the
that was
tackle.
2nd and 10, makes it 3rd and 10. They get the sack. It's 4th and 20. Huge play there. And then, of course, 4th and 20, he gets the interception.
Yep.
He played awesome. He was a game changer today.
He was.
Which is what you're paying him to be. And it was really, really nice to see him kind of come into his own, hit his stride.
Yeah, it really was, because we are looking for that. And I would actually say the interceptions were the least impressive part of his day, because like you said, that first one didn't mean much. That second one...
It's a heave, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a heave. That's exactly what both of them were on, were heaves. And then also, Justin, the game's not over, bud. Don't get a penalty there. And I mean, we would be talking about that a little more, too, if the Broncos actually lost the game. So it was the rest of the game. It wasn't the big, flashy interceptions. It was the rest of the game where he was good. And that's something that's been missing, is those play-to-play plays from Justin Simmons that we haven't seen so far this year. So really good to see second highest paid safety in the NFL look like that.
I don't mind the taunting penalty.
When there's time left, you can't have it, Ryan. Especially they have all 3 timeouts.
I know.
The thing is, like, so game situation is like 40 seconds. They call their 3 timeouts. You punt the ball with 25 seconds.
Yep.
It's the other end of the field.
Yep.
And
coming
now it's
down to a
15
Hail
yards.
Mary, yeah.
It's like
15 yards is important in a Hail Mary
it doesn't
situation.
seem like it should matter at
You're
all.
right.
But knowing what we know now, it's like, oh, it is possible for things
Right.
to go this way.
I'll jump into the spin zone here and just say, I want to see this team have some swagger.
Absolutely.
I want to see them, like sauce on some people. I want to see them let them know when they make big plays on them. And so while I much would have rather had him just take that to the house and celebrate down there, I like seeing a team with a little bit of edge, and Justin isn't exactly the guy you would expect to bring it. I don't know. It got me excited. It was maybe the most exciting moment of the game.
Taking off your helmet after an interception isn't showing edge, though.
That's what they called. They called the helmet.
Yeah.
I thought it was for dancing in the field of
No.
play.
No.
They were cool with
Taking off
that.
his helmet. Just keep your helmet. Be smart.
Wait, he took his helmet off on the sideline after he got hit?
I didn't see it on TV either, but it is what they called.
Yep.
We're going to have to go to the judge for that one.
Well, the judge is Zach, and he said what he said.
So, okay, let me just review this. He dances on the field. He gets late hit out of bounds.
Yep.
You're not allowed to take your helmet off after that?
You're not allowed to take your helmet off on the field, and if you're on the other sideline, that's still the field.
But the play was over. The series is over. He's done.
But he has to come across the field.
What is? He can't take his helmet
Gotta
off.
have your helmet off.
That's
on,
so.
Ryan.
That is.
I know.
So
that is my big question. Is like, why do we have this rule? Why can't you take your helmet off?
Like,
'Cause it would slow
you can't take your
things
helmet off
down?
in the middle of the field while there's play happening. It's a change of possession. They might be going to commercial break for all you know. I'm calling bullshit on that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
That's a spooky word on Halloween.
I'm sorry. There's no better word to explain how I feel.
out the
So
spooky
again,
words.
shout out to DraftKings and shout out to DraftKings King of the Game, Justin Simmons. All right, before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Chevalier Mortgage. You can call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578 or visit dnvrmortgage.com. Chevalier Mortgage ultimate goal is to take the stress out of buying and refinancing. They strive to give their borrowers options with their full financial picture in mind and with the highest level of integrity, always putting their borrowers first. Something to keep in mind for our homeowners with prices going up. It's creating natural equity in your home. If you have mortgage insurance, chances are you can refinance out of that. Make the bubble work for you. Anyways, check out our friends at Chevalier Mortgage. Call again, 303-257-6578, or visit DNVRmortgage.com. That's Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006, and Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631.
Guys, if the Broncos win next week, I don't care in what fashion it is, that's going to be a huge week. There's going to be no better place to watch the game than at the DNVR bar when the Broncos play the Cowboys.
Strong agree.
Next Sunday, I believe it's an early game, 11 a.m. kickoff. Get here at 10. Bar opens at 10. Get your seat. And guys, if they go to 5-4 next week playing the Cowboys, it's going to be popping. But also make sure to check out the bar this week. From 3 to 6 every single day, we've got happy hour going on down here. And, of course, join and become a member with us over at thednvr.com, and you'll get the member beer, which is, of course, 22-ounce beer for the price of a 16-ounce beer, and you got to get in on all the Breck brews that we've got here. Kind of an interesting season. We're right in between Strawberry Sky, Vanilla Porter Jr., Good Company, but
It's always good company season.
I was going to say, the good thing about all of them is it's always that sort of season. I mean, yesterday was definitely Strawberry Sky. Today, tomorrow, Vanilla Porter Jr., Avalanche Ale season. So you got to get to the bar. Check us out over at thednvr.com to get that member beer and everything else we've got going, including something very cool coming very soon at thednvr.com.
Yes.
So make sure you remember to take advantage of that.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yes.
Good job, Henry. You jumping in on this?
Oh, yeah. Breckenridge Brewery.
Yes.
Yeah, so they make really good beers, in case you guys haven't heard. If you guys come down here for that game next week, you should be drinking those.
Yes.
Like Ryan said, it's always good company season, so we always drink good company hard seltzers. But it's always really the season for all... Oh, thank
Beautiful.
you. Oh.
That was great. That was.
He wants one
that was
too.
perfect.
He wants one too.
Wow.
That really wasn't teasing. I mean,
That was-
putting it right in between.
I know, yeah, I got a little splash. Wow, thank you. I get one too. But yeah, seriously, they're the best. I had several of these this morning. The tailgate,
A little
the actual
confused at the
tailgate.
several. When he was saying several, he was a little confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
That-
put a
that
number
shows it
on
was
it
several.
He was
publicly.
going to say 7, I think, and then just decided to pivot into several.
Yeah, it works out a little bit better. But yeah, like I said, like they're the absolute best. You can pick them up wherever you get your beer. Most liquor stores around here have them, grocery stores, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to be absolutely sure that wherever you're going has what you want, use the beer locator on the Breckenridge Brewery website. It'll tell you exactly where to go pick it up. And if you want to go down to Littleton, you can get some great food from the farmhouse at Breckenridge Brewery down there. Use the code DNVR, save $5. It's a bunch of cool stuff, and we love them because they love us and because of their beers.
Great stuff, Hank. That's how you know this guy hosts a podcast every day. Nailed the ad read. So we're going to get to all of your super chats in the third segment. I'm just curious, Kale. Can we get like a chat vibe check? How are we doing? Okay, things are bad.
Yeah.
Are
Feel
they
bad.
are us having fun helping them have fun? Yeah. Okay, all right, that's good. We're having a good time.
I wish
We
he had
are.
said yeah. And not,
was more of a-
yeah.
Yeah, it was like you saying that this was a good win.
I think if we keep having a good time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can turn this thing around by the third segment if we keep having a good time.
Let's do it.
Let's
I'm
do it.
already turned around.
All right. Of course, second segment after wins, even questionable, confusing wins, that results in helmet stickers. So Henry is our guest. Who do you got?
Who do I got? I mean, obviously, you've already got Justin Simmons. Also, Malik Reed.
Yeah.
Malik
Ooh,
Reed had a
strip
great
sack.
game. I'm not sure what the stats are, but he was all over in the backfield. Obviously, the strip sack is what steals the show and solidifies things. I'll leave it there because there's other guys that want to bring up.
I mean, I have to add to that as well, guys. Malik Reed was what we wanted Von Miller to be this year, and especially the past 4 games, he was key to the Broncos winning this game. The Broncos have needed some big stops at the end of games in their 4-game losing streak. Didn't get them once. What does Malik Reed come in and do? He gets that. And man, when I saw him coming off the edge and Taylor Heineke is looking the other direction, I thought, this is a huge opportunity for Malik, and he took advantage of it. Ends the day with 2 sacks, 3 tackles, 2 quarterback hits, a tackle for a loss, a pass defense, and, of course, that forced fumble. He filled the stat sheet. He could have absolutely got king of the game as well. Just shows you how good he played. So you have to go with Malik Reed as well. I'm going to go with another defensive front 7 player, guys. Shelby Harris. Saving 6 or at least 3 points for the Broncos. Also got in on a sack. Ends the day with half a sack, 5 tackles, 2 quarterback hits. Guys, this is what the Broncos paid Shelby Harris to do, is get pressure after the quarterback, but also get his hands up, whether he's in the pass game or whether it's in special teams. And I'll save one more note on him for another one.
Okay. I'm going to give mine to Jerry Jeudy. Not the most blow you away stats. I think he ends the game. Let me not think and just know.
4 for 39.
Ends the game with 4 catches for 39 yards, but it felt like all 4 were important for this team, and that's what we thought we were going to get from Jerry when he came back. Is okay. Well, he's not going to just pop off the stat sheet, but he is a guy who, regardless, is going to get open in a phone booth. And that's what he did. He got open on big plays, and of course there was the big third down conversion out on the sideline. That to me was the biggest play of that entire drive. So it's almost just like a relief to have him back, and I'm giving him a helmet sticker for that, for coming back. It doesn't look 100% yet. Probably won't be 100% the rest of the season, unfortunately. But can still be really valuable to this offense.
Yeah, very valuable. And like you said, that 18-yard catch late in the game was huge. Some concerning news, though. Vic Fangio admitted after the game that Jerry was getting a little sore there at the end of the game. And I
Sure
just
he
thought, I hate hearing that. Of course, he was questionable to play in a last-minute decision to bring him up and have him play. So we'll see. Hopefully he's okay, because he's a huge part of this Broncos offense. Shameful that he didn't get his first catch or target until 12 minutes left in the second quarter. I don't know how you go a whole quarter without throwing to Jerry Jeudy, but he did have an impact.
Just to give you the listeners and you guys an idea of what it's like to have this injury, I talked to a few players who have dealt with this before, and they basically said, okay, so you spend 3 to 8 weeks trying to get back from this thing. And basically when you get back is, it feels 70, 80%. And then you go out there, and by the time you're done with the game, you're back to 40%. And your goal is treatment all week just to get back to 70%, only so you can go back to 40% after the game. That is what Jerry Jeudy has ahead of him the rest of the year. It absolutely sucks. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst injuries you can get from a, quote unquote minor injury standpoint, because you can be out there, but you can't be yourself. And in the NFL, we know if you can be out there, you have to be out there. And so it's an awkward thing. Guys who are in like contract years and stuff hate it more than anything, because you're not going to put out your best tape. But it was clear today that the Broncos need Jerry Jeudy, and he made big plays for them, and that's why he gets a sticker from me.
They used him a little bit differently too. They put him in motion a lot. A lot of those little jet sweep motions.
Our least favorite.
You don't like those?
Well,
they did it again today, where the guy fakes the handoff 5 yards after he's past Teddy Britt. I don't get it.
I know.
It's faking that he's getting the ball behind Bobby Massey.
I actually love.
That is a Madden
I
glitch
enjoy
right
it.
there that the
That's
Broncos
what it
haven't
looks
figured
like.
out.
But my thing is, like, you gotta give him the ball in one of those. Like,
Yes, they haven't done it once.
No, and now you go into
No.
next week and it's like, okay, we're gonna run these back out there, but it's not like you're scaring the other team. Because nobody thinks you're actually going to do it, because you haven't. And how does that even work? Teddy turns around because he's under center for pretty much all those anyway. So he turns around and tries to catch him on the fly.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, teams do
It's
that.
so much tougher than out of the shotgun, though.
Totally.
We'll see what happens.
We did see a little trickery with Jerry when they did the reverse, and it, didn't really work that well. But
As I responded to you on Twitter, a trick, but not a treat.
Yeah, exactly. There was no treat at the end of that. But, guys, one thing that has been a treat, it's the Broncos special teams, dare I say, over these past couple of games. Today, they were the best unit on the Broncos for they were.
10 points.
But a blocked field goal.
Yeah,
And then,
you're right.
two blocked field goals. And, guys, the Broncos special teams did not have the team start beyond their own 20 or behind their own 25 the entirety of the game. The Broncos started at the 19 on their first possession, but that's because the Washington football team had a turnover on downs. Then you have 35-yard is where you're starting, 25-yard, 25-yard, 46-yard, 25, 37, and then at the very end, coming off that interception from Justin Simmons, the 22-yard line. McMahon, I'm not saying he's keeping his job after the season. Maybe he is, since he's lasted through a few coaches. But a little, what do we do? Visor sticker?
Visor sticker.
Visor sticker for Tom McMahon for getting these guys to be playing the best ball that they've been playing.
Henry?
Draymond Jones?
Yeah.
I mean,
Did he have 1 or 2?
1.5.
1.5.
Okay, right in between.
Nice. Good question.
Yeah.
Tackle for loss as well. I've got these stats.
Well, he had one of the blocks.
2 more quarterback hits, and yeah, the block is, I mean, just another defensive lineman really putting things together. And it's just so exciting to see that. I mean, Stephen Weatherly was making plays out there too in his first game.
He had a
I
sack.
thought Jonathan Cooper did some good things too.
Yep.
You know, this group is really, really fun to watch. And, you know, maybe Vaughn gets healthy and comes back and turns out to be a Pro Bowl type of player. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I put Draymond right in that category with Justin of like, oh, today is what we were talking about, right?
Yep.
It's what we wanted to see from Draymond all season. It's what we wanted to see from Justin all season. We know what Draymond's capable of. Remember, during the Aaron Rodgers talk, he was considered like potentially the big young piece that you send in that deal, along with, of course, a bunch of picks. So, and during the Deshaun Watson talk. So, you were expecting him to be a young star. He hasn't been it. He was it today.
Yep, he was.
I got to give a double helmet sticker to, or maybe even more than that, but mostly just Kenny Young and Baron Browning. Double helmet sticker, mostly just for fitting the run. I know that's like a low bar to ask from professional linebackers, but there were no big pops today from the running backs. Mm-hmm. And after Dearness Johnson basically popped every time he touched the ball last week, it was a huge relief. Honestly, from the first drive on, I was like, oh, they might be able to actually stop the run today. Like, this is a huge relief because you can't win games, obviously, like we saw against Cleveland. You cannot win games when you can't stop the run. Those two did a great job. I mean, a totally different linebacker core from last week. They pop in there and at the very least fit the run. Baron Browning looked a little bit like a fish out of water the first time he had to cover. But other than that, I think he played a good game. And Kenny Young, again, you know, Henry pointed it out late in the game, was like he's making tackles 4 yards down the field. It's a hell of a lot better than Justin Simmons making him 20 yards down the field.
Yeah, exactly. And Justin Strnad, he got not only the starting role taken away from him, but also he got the green dot taken away from him. That was given to Baron Browning, which is a huge sign of respect to what Vic thinks he can be. Going into this week, Vic said he needs to finally step up. And he did, not, you know, a huge step where you feel excellent about him moving forward, but he stepped up to the big task today.
Good linebackers are so fun. Like, it's just a shame that the Broncos haven't had those in so long. Like
Zach's favorite Bronco of all time is Al Wilson.
Yeah, it's just
the last good one.
It's just a totally
really,
different feel to the defense when you have a guy like that right there. And like Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson, yes, those are starting NFL linebackers. But when you get somebody who's that high level, and it's just fun to see these young guys, and who knows, maybe one of them does pop.
Great linebacker play is one of the easiest things for a fan to just look on and be like, wow, this rules.
Yeah.
Like, look at Nate Landman. You know, when Nate Landman's just playing at his best, it's like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, and Henry, the reason they haven't had any high-end linebackers is they just haven't invested.
They haven't
in
invested.
the draft and free agent. They haven't tried. So just like the quarterback position, you can't be shocked that they haven't got good results because they haven't invested.
When's the last time they invested in it? DJ Williams?
Brandon Marshall? You mean in the draft?
In a high pick, I'm saying.
In the draft. Yeah, it'd be DJ.
Am I missing one? That is so long ago.
No?
Crazy.
Yeah.
If anyone can think of one that I'm not, obviously Von Miller is quote unquote a linebacker, but not really. I'm talking inside
off
linebacker.
ball,
Yeah. Really great stuff. Any other ones that you guys want to pass out? Does Teddy get one?
No. I mean, if he did, he undid it with that throw.
You don't like 109.9 passer ratings, 1 touchdown,
Every
no picks,
time.
73% completion. I mean, the stats are fantastic.
Every time the stats are good.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like this is playing out exactly how we thought it would. We knew he would put up respectable stats. We also knew he probably wouldn't be able to bring them back from behind and, you know, make those big wow plays. But this was an absolute game manager performance. He managed it all the way up until his wits evaded him on the last drive. But 19 of 26, 213 yards and a touchdown. That is game manager city.
How about this too for Vic putting a lot of pressure on his own coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball to kind of go along with this. Vic said after the game he was laying in bed last night and thought he saw a stat that the Cowboys have scored 35 points or more in the past 4 straight games. Now, that may change tonight with Cooper Rush being their starting quarterback, but he said...
Let's not rush to judgment.
Oh, that's a very good point. He said, we better get some points. He didn't say, like, I need to figure out how to get more, but he just said, we better get some points. To me, it's very much a message straight to your offensive side of the ball.
You're making me feel better about a potential firing coming down.
Maybe it's after next week if the Broncos go out and score 13 points and they get blown out 35-13.
Also, I mean,
Maybe it's tomorrow.
like
It makes me feel better.
Vic is laying in bed seeing stats.
Yeah.
That sounds like Twitter to me. I think that man is on Twitter.
I think it's ESPN at the bottom of the screen.
That could be. Yep,
He's
that's
still
what
in the
it is.
hotel room?
He's probably got
Yeah.
a TV in his house.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if he...
They're in a hotel for home games, right?
I don't know if the coaching staff is.
Oh yeah, I guess maybe just plays.
I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know. You should ask him. I bet he would welcome that question
Vic,
compared to
where do you
the
sleep
others.
before the game?
Just don't ask me about this offense.
Right.
Let me give you 5 minutes on that.
All right. It's time for a costume change. It's your turn, Hank. Go for the gold. There you go.
Going for the gold. I love how it's me every time.
It is you
Look
every
great.
time. You look great.
Some nice. Wow, those are that's impressive hands. Wow.
Do you have your little? Oh, there it is. All right, we have ourselves
Genie.
you have to rub this or something
a,
so I come out
a
of it.
genie and.
Oh. You like me
I
to
didn't
rub
have a
it so
mic.
that you come out of it?
Wow.
That is a really questionable
Wow.
sentence if you take
Those are-
out of it out
Wow.
of that
Those,
sentence.
those were your words.
I don't know how
Hank.
the genie fits in there.
Yeah, it's magic.
Yeah.
Of course, duh. Like me right
Yes,
now,
you're
which is
magic.
why I'm going to grant you guys wishes.
Okay, we are each granted one wish, Zach. Well, you tell us, Hank. You are the genie after all.
I am the genie, and like Ryan said, I'm going to grant you both one wish. It's a Broncos wish. Don't be trying to use this for some like do right by the people. Don't waste this.
And let me just say, it has to be something that can happen inside of this season. So you can't say
Okay.
like, "Oh, I wish for the Broncos to find the next Patrick Mahomes."
Right.
You got to say something that will happen in
Yeah.
the next 9 weeks.
So like,
What are
wish
you
for
wishing for,
them
Zach?
to find the next Patrick Mahomes in the next 9 weeks.
What am I wishing for? I'm first. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but Genie, I want maximum value for everyone I can sell in the next 48 hours.
That does sound really nice.
That is the ultimate
Ooh.
rebuild wish.
Wow.
Yep. I'm not getting fooled by today.
So you're saying, trade Vaughn,
Yep.
trade
Kyle
Bryce
Fuller?
Callahan if he's
Yeah,
okay.
you're not gonna be able to trade Bryce Callahan.
Yeah.
Kyle Fuller, you might as well keep because you're gonna. I mean,
Get
I'm.
nothing.
Oh, you
I
just
guess
put in
ship-
Oj and
shipping off.
Bassey.
Yep.
and,
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're hoping you get like a second round pick somewhere in here. Wasn't there a report out there that teams are willing to like back up the Brinks truck for Von Miller, something like that?
And let's say, because with Vaughn, if you ship him off after this game, a team's going to have to take $10 million of salary with him this year. So instead of a second-round pick for Vaughn, how about you say we'll pay half of that, or we'll pay 7 of the $10 million, and you have to give us a first-round pick back.
If you get a first round pick, you have
And pay the cap.
Well,
I
you
don't
get a
care about
wish,
the cap.
so-
Yeah, and the way it works is like you go to Vaughn and say like, "Hey, we're kind of thinking this might be a good idea. What do you think about getting that?" Like, just don't ruin that relationship. Like, it's Von Miller. He's been a cornerstone of the franchise for forever, and you just gotta make sure you handle it right. But yeah, I'm totally with you. If he wants out, you can send him to a contender and pick something up. You absolutely do it.
We're not in the business of making friends here, Hank.
Oh, but the
You-
Broncos
you
have
don't-
been forever.
you don't
Look
need
at
to ask
Peyton
him.
Manning here today.
You don't need to ask him.
What I will say is a team that's going to trade for Von Miller is going to be a good team. He'll be happy there.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
I'm trying to think of like a good team in a bad place, like Cleveland.
How about Dallas? Wouldn't
Cleveland's
that
a bad
be
place.
something? You trade him to Dallas and then you go and play him.
Yeah,
Oh.
good. I was about to curse.
Might be a
luck
conspiracy
with
theory.
that.
Yeah, but he was close to being able to play today, right?
Vic actually said no.
He was not.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vic
really?
Vic said he was not close to play.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can you trade him then?
Well, he probably hurt his value a tiny bit by saying he wasn't close to playing. But
Yeah.
you could trade him as long as he passed the physical. And with what he's dealing with, a sprained ankle, that wouldn't be something that would nix a trade.
Okay.
Conspiracy corner out there on Twitter saying, believing they didn't play him because they're going to trade him. And you put any value into that?
A little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, I do. Put a little bit in there. And also, remember, Vaughn said he was ready to go after halftime. He said he could have come back in the Cleveland game, but someone said we need to hold him out. Who was that?
Very interesting.
You want to use your wish to find out, Ryan?
No.
I could tell you.
Gosh, this is actually hard.
Yeah.
What's crazy about this is the fact that it's so hard for me to come up with my wish tells me just how deep of a hole they're actually in.
Like half the league is saying, just go win Super Bowl. Like I wish to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, but that just sounds so unrealistic right now.
I thought about the win out or the trading everyone. I went the trading everyone.
I am a
route.
genie. Like, I can do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you could just win a Super Bowl, I would take that. But I'm trying to, keep the game a little bit realistic here. I'm going to say I wish, and maybe this is too broad, so if you need me to narrow it, I will. I wish for the Broncos' young stars to just ball out. Whether that's in wins, losses, I don't really care. I want to see Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, Pat Surtain, mostly those three guys look like they are a big part of what I wrote in our Broncos Pick'em, the next Broncos Super Bowl team. Because that's what I think George Paton has to look at this week. This is what I wrote. You can read it on the DNVR.com to see kind of all of our thoughts on buy or sell. But I just said, George Paton's job is to pull out a roster with a highlighter. Highlight every single player that you say, when we win the Super Bowl, because that's obviously the idea that he has to have in mind. When we win the Super Bowl, I envision this guy lifting the trophy. Everyone who you don't highlight should be available. And I don't think you end up, bring it back to Vaughn, I don't think you highlight Vaughn. He's not on the next Broncos Super Bowl team. No. So for me, I want to see Jerry, Javonte, and Pat Surtain just look like stars. Because I think they all are, but I want to see more from them. Obviously, Javonte, not good today. I want to see more from those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You can throw some other guys, Jonathan Cooper, in that mix. Man, the offensive line is not trending in the right direction. No real guys that you point to. Unless you're talking about backups that weren't even out there today.
Yeah.
And guys, I wanted to get the full quote in right now from Vic talking about his offensive staff and throwing them under the bus. Here's what he said. He said, the offensive coaches all thought the boot play had a chance to work on the second down. They all thought it.
Okay, so it's obviously no one else's opinion matters than Pat Shurmur's.
Right? They all just agreed with him.
He didn't ask.
No
way.
So he's that's it, Pat.
You think it makes it even a better story if Vic was like, Pat, what should we go with here? And Pat's like, let's run the boot. And then whoever else is up there, he's like, Munch, do you like that idea?
Love it.
It's like a Brady Bunch
the fact
thing.
that he would even second guess it
Right.
is a big problem in itself. But I don't think he did. I think Pat said, hey, I think we got something here. Vic said, all right, let's do it.
Yep.
And again, what's funny is Vic's done this before where he loves to highlight that it wasn't necessarily him. It was the offensive staff. He threw Rich Gangarello under the bus multiple times. In fact, he threw Rich Gangarello on the bus after a win when something great happened, right? It was the Drew Lock bomb to Cortland Sutton on the sideline, draws a PI. They end up kicking the game-winning field goal, and he's like, yes, Gangs wanted to run it out. And I said, no, let's go for it. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Who does that? And again, we're all ready to throw Pat Shurmur under the bus. There's one person who really shouldn't do it. It's Vic.
It's the head coach.
It only reflects poorly on you. That's your employee.
Yep. Exactly. And he was the guy that brought him in here.
Yes. Interesting. All right. Shout out to Hassel Cattle Company. We got Wagyu burgers down here at the DNVR bar, of course, because we love us some Hassel Cattle Company burgers. We brought it into the bar. That is our ultimate seal of approval. And you can have one. A lot of people down there, I can see at least 3 people from my view right now eating Hassel Cattle Company Wagyu beef burgers here at the DNVR bar. The DNVR burger, or the Bronco burger, rave reviews. You've got the Wagyu beef from Hassel.
Yep.
You've got onion rings. You've got Hatch green chili cream cheese
there.
And a drizzle of barbecue sauce. This best ratings of any food item we've ever had, and it all starts with that base layer of Hassel Cattle Company beef. So use that code DNVR10 at HassleCattleCompany.com. Get 10% off. And if you go over $200, you'll get free shipping from Hassel Cattle Company. I cannot recommend this stuff enough. It's not just the burgers, even though if you just buy the burgers for yourself, you'll love them. It's the steaks. It's the beef jerky. It's the sausages. It's their beef bacon. It is all top of the line, top notch, and affordable. So check out our friends over at HASSELL cattlecompany.com.
Big shout out to my guy, Trevor Simeon, on ruining my experience over at DraftKings Sportsbook today. Man, when Jameis went out, I actually haven't seen the injury yet, but I heard it was absolutely gruesome. When he went out, I thought, man, Tom Brady against a backup Saints team, 4 points. That's all I need.
Did you even know it was Trev?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and still felt pretty good about it because it was Tom. But no, Trevor is better than Tom. So they took my money today, but I'm coming back for them tomorrow. Did you guys get in some action on tonight's Sunday night game?
I did. I've got Dalvin Cook to score touchdowns in both halves. Feel good about that. I need 8 receiving yards for Blake Jarwin,
Yeah.
Dallas's tight end.
Jarwin.
He has no. It was a drop. I also need 8 rushing yards from Cooper Rush.
Very fitting. I like that.
He's at 2.
Oh, you're on pace, I think. I love it.
You better hope he's Cooper Rush more than Cooper Pass.
What do we
Oh,
have?
he just threw a big pick. So
What's the game? What's the score right now?
down 7-0.
Down 7-0, man. If you believe in that running game that Dallas has, you might want to put some cash on them live right now. You can get great odds over at DraftKings Sportsbook. And guys, when you place $5 on any NFL game, you'll get $200 in free bets if that team wins. If you place any bets today, you get that $200 in free bets. You can start betting on tomorrow's Monday night game, which shouldn't be a close one, but maybe the Giants keep it a close one going into Kansas City. Ryan's saying yes.
gonna be a close
so
one.
maybe that's the one that you bet on. Bet on the Chiefs or you bet on the Giants and get in with our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook because we have so much fun with DraftKings Sportsbook and all they've got to offer, including those same
Double
game
parlay
parlays.
night for me last night.
Oh, double parlay hit?
Yep, double parlay
Wow.
hit. Jokic, I made a Jokic same game parlay. That was just all Jokic things and a Nuggets win.
Wow.
And he hit his points and assists by 1 in my same game parlay, which is beautiful.
Wow.
And then I had, of course, as I call it, the Cronky. The Avs Nuggets moneyline parlay. You love to see it.
I love it. The Cronky came through. So check them out. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get those $200 in free bets on betting $5 on any NFL game. And, of course, must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hank, you got us on this one?
What do you
there
do?
were only 2.
What do you do when you wake up in the morning, Hank?
I snooze.
Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should phrase that in a different way, or I could get a Blake Bortles answer from you. What do you drink in the morning when you wake?
Strava.
You may go. Okay, I thought you may go Breck Brew. So good.
Yeah, I was also about to do this whole snooze read
Oh.
instead
Wow,
that
I could have
would've
messed
really
you up
been
there.
the Strava.
True.
But yeah,
we
I mean-
just have a full day planned for you here.
it's a busy morning. Luckily, if you drink Strava Craft coffee, you can get through whatever you need to get through in the morning.
It's true.
That is CBD infused coffee, so that means it has like the good part. One of the good parts that you'll find in a certain herbal plant. I guess that's redundant, but yeah, I mean it's great coffee. You can get it in all sorts of different forms. If you want the cold brew, you can come down here. They have a program where you can subscribe to your coffee, and they'll ship it straight to you every 2, 4, 6, or 8 weeks, and you get a discount every time. You get 20% off every single time. It's a great deal. You gotta use the code DNVR25. That's for a separate thing. That is for 25% off your first purchase. But yeah, it's a great deal. You can get the K-Cups. You can get the like the whole beans, the grounds, all sorts of different stuff. Go check out Strava Craft Coffee and use that code DNVR25, or just subscribe and save every time.
Great job coming off the bench for that. Really,
Thank you.
Really good stuff. Really
You guys have a lot of ads here.
Yeah, a lot of people want to sponsor
Popular.
their show for obvious reasons.
I know. I gotta get a couple more on Buffs Pod.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we have a lot of how many super chats do we have to get to, Kale? Okay, before we do that,
Ooh, in honor of John Elway.
one last costume change. Actually, no. Let's go super chats, and if we have time at the end, we'll have one last costume change. So let's start here from Z.
All right, think RK put up the believe sign from Ted Lasso in the locker room before the game?
Did you?
I believe in believe.
I believe he
in
did.
hope. Yep, I did. I actually got it with the old reverse jinx. I guaranteed a win last week. Didn't work. Broncos lost, so I said, all right, I'll just go the opposite this week. Pick against them, then they win.
Wow.
Man,
what are you
what-
doing next week?
We'll see. I'll probably pick against them.
Definitely picking against them. Yes, I can tell you that. Broncos open up. I think they're just outside a touchdown underdog against the Cowboys.
What if old Coop Boy is out there?
Oh,
That'd be nice.
then we have an interesting thing.
Yeah,
then the
dude.
Broncos will play backup quarterbacks in back-to-back weeks.
Wow.
How about that?
Plus, it is the Cowboys. Like, it feels like Cowboys they're always due for a letdown game. They're like 5-1, but
So are the Broncos.
Unfortunately,
they
this
beat
is
like the
probably their
Giants. They
letdown
beat
game.
the Eagles.
The The Broncos beat the Jets.
There was an overtime
the
game.
Jets,
Oh, totally.
the Washington.
You're
Oh, we
probably-
all know what the Broncos
Honestly,
have done.
I got a little like spin here of what you should be rooting for tonight. You're probably rooting for Cooper Rush to lead the Cowboys to a win, so they can talk themselves into. Let's give Dak a little bit more rest. Cooper Rush could beat the Broncos.
Yeah. Or they talk themselves into Cooper Rush is the future. Let's trade Dak for just minimal round picks back
Or
to
for
the
Teddy.
Broncos.
For Vaughn.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Exactly.
Zach for Vaughn straight up.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next?
Interesting one. If we squeak into the playoffs, do you think we will have to suffer through more Fangio seasons?
This is a prevalent feeling in Broncos country.
I know.
Any good thing that happens can be spinned into a bad thing because it can prolong the lifespan of this coaching staff. That is rock bottom for a coaching staff.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying was Broncos fans kind of viewed this win almost in like a weird, like their head
It's an
feels good, but their
annoying win.
stomach feels a little turned. And yeah, Tyler, if the Broncos make the playoffs, it means they're above 500, means they're at least 9-8. Vic Fangio is coming back because also look where they are right now. They played a lot of bad teams, some good teams, and they're 500. They play a lot of good teams and not very many bad teams throughout the rest of this stretch. So that would mean that they're beating good teams. And that means Vic has figured something out, whether he fired Pat Shurmur and brought up Munchak or
Mike Shula?
Yeah, someone to get the offense going. And then the defense also has to be purring to along the tunes of like the 10-point game they just gave up today.
Yeah.
So yeah, more Fangio.
Yeah, absolutely. Next.
And then it is followed up with this question.
Wow.
Thoughts
Thank you,
on our
MM.
offensive and defensive line?
Defensive line good, offensive line very bad.
Yeah, offensive line is just so uninspiring at the very best.
Who's the good lineman? Like, is there one that you're like, oh, he's good?
Bobby Massey is the best, and he may be good. And today he gave up a pretty bad sack as well. But he's been their best offensive lineman so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one whose name has come up the least in bad conversation.
Garrett Bowles, by the way, guys, left the stadium on crutches and I believe in a boot as well. He has an ankle injury. That's all we found out from Vic. Bryce Callahan, really quick. Vic said he hyperextended his leg, so has a knee injury. Says he doesn't think it's bad, but we don't know the extent.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I didn't want to play like Twitter doctor,
A
but
lot of people out there do that.
oh, everyone loves to do that. But if I was playing Twitter doctor, I would have said like, don't you dare. I would have said like that didn't actually look as bad as it could have been. It just looked like a hyperextension to me. But again, we don't know shit when it comes to this
Plus,
stuff.
I feel like I've heard that hyperextensions are the ones that really hurt. Like, they aren't as serious, but they hurt
really
more
painful.
than
Right.
anything
And
else that
freaky.
could happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know if you've ever hyperextended your knee, but it's really weird. Every time you step afterwards, it feels like you're gonna do it again. It just like takes you a while to get confidence in just taking steps.
Oh, how about, and guys, the guy, you know who came in and replaced him? It wasn't.
Got Cooper Rush chants in the
Wow.
bar
That's what I thought they were booing Coop.
from Broncos fans.
The guy that came in and replaced Bryce Callahan was not your $10 million all-pro cornerback, Kyle Fuller. It was Nate Hairston.
You know what I realized today?
What?
Kyle Fuller is getting paid $588,000 per game to do nothing.
Yep. Yep. I mean, what a great way to go into
When
retirement.
he played 2 snaps, I was like, that dude got paid $250,000 per snap.
Think about it when he didn't play.
I
any
know.
snaps.
He does have to watch the Broncos.
So what did he do today? He woke up, drove to the stadium, and put on the uniform
Yep.
for $500,000. Great
Yep.
gig if you can get it.
Yeah, fantastic gig. Right off into the sunset with that.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Other note on the defensive line, though, before we get out of here, I do wish they just had one big just run stopper. I brought it up during the game, but like
Don't
a
worry, we're not getting out of here anytime soon.
Domata Pecco, just one like really big
Yeah.
guy
Yeah, he
who
was-
just hogs up.
He's really talking about Domata Pecco.
Oh, wow.
I just miss it. There's a little bit too much push in there. Just nice big
yeah,
man.
Purcell was signed to be that
True.
guy.
Yeah, and he's out. And guys, I'm really concerned for next week because that Dallas offensive line and running game is something. And the Washington football team just ran for 112 yards on 4.7 yards per carry.
Did they really?
Yep.
It did not
Doesn't
feel that bad.
Yeah, the stats seem a lot worse.
Just felt like they were getting like, maybe it was just really just 4 at a time.
It
Like,
was.
Were there like some receiver runs in there too?
You had Terry McLaurin go for 12.
okay.
That's it.
Wow.
So no.
Then the rest
Yeah.
was Taylor Heineke had 1 for 10.
So you had 2 extra carries that boost that up, but again,
Yeah.
Not enough.
wow. All right, what's next?
All right. Has an OC ever been fired after a win? Could we start that trend? Alaska Preston, much love, y'all.
Alaska Preston was hanging out up here last
Yes, he
post game
was.
show.
Back in Alaska?
No, he moved to Denver.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure it's happened before.
I'm sure.
What must be done eventually must be done immediately.
How bad does it I mean, it's got to be the situation the Broncos are in, like a defensive-led team
Yep.
where they win like 10-7. Now, it's just very close to that, 17-10.
And on top of that, it's like they are 500. And so to be fired after a win at 500, it also needs to be a Broncos situation where you have 3 wins against the 3 worst teams. You lose 4 in a row, and then you win to get to 500, but it's in these circumstances. Like
Right.
this is the most likely it's ever been for a coordinator to be fired at 500 after a win.
What are we up to in terms of Broncos opponents' total combined wins? So you've
The
got
people the Broncos have beat.
so you've got 1 for the Jags, I think 2 for the Giants. There's 3.
2 for the Jets. How about that?
2 for the
Yeah.
Jets, there's 5, and 2 for the Washington football team. 7 wins out of approximately 4 times 8.
28.
7, so they're 7-21
Yep,
ish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not
Not
very
good.
good.
Not
No.
Not good. And there's only 1 more of those really left on the schedule.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
Bengals,
Eagles,
too.
Eagles.
Eagles, Bengals, Lions.
All right, Eagles and Lions.
Oh,
Wait,
you're
the
right.
Bengals
You're
are
right.
The Bengals are not a
smoked
good.
the
They're in
Ravens last
first
week.
place in the
They
AFC
just
North.
lost 34-31 to the Jets.
Yeah,
They
well, the Mike White effect, dude.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
All right. Coming
Actually,
in from,
Maybe
Bengals
Zach
aren't
Wilson's
good.
He's a Mac
available
guy,
after
isn't
this
he? I think he
season.
came from the Mac.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, coming in from Brian Para. This staff is a tumor that needs to be removed ASAP. Weeks ago, Vic called out the entire Baltimore organization over player safety. That last drive almost cost us the game and got a player hurt. Fire everyone.
I don't know. I mean, who almost got hurt? Or who did get hurt?
Who was down there at the end? Deshaun Williams was out at the very end, but I think he's fine. I can't think of anyone on offense because Garrett Bowles got hurt the series
that.
before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that one. Vic is low on the totem pole of people to blame for that one, but I mean, I understand the people's frustration with the staff. Like, this has to be. Is this the least exciting win you've ever seen from the Broncos?
Yeah, pretty
Maybe
much.
like one of those late season ones where you're just kind of hoping they were going to lose.
Yeah, this one though, it's weird because this is a time where if they win, they should still matter. But for a lot of people, it doesn't matter.
It's crazy.
So, but all that could turn around with a win next week, right?
Biggest thing, and I thought about this. I'll take a page out of Vic's. Last night when I was laying in bed, I thought about this and thought about how if the Broncos season doesn't start until they lose to a really bad team or they beat a good team. Because otherwise we're going to go down this route. The Broncos are going to lose next week. They're going to beat the Eagles. They're going to be 5-5 going into the bye. We're not really going to know anything about them. They're kind of still in the mix. But if they go out and beat the Cowboys next week, the season's on. They're going to be 2 games above 500 going into the bye. But then let's say they lose to the Eagles, then the season starts and it's over right then. And then you're making big changes.
Begins and ends right there. Yeah, I think you're onto something. All right, next super chat.
All right, just a plain old $4.99 coming in from Mad Dog 2001.
Thank
Shout
you,
out
Mad
Mad
Dog.
Dog
Mad Dog.
2001, not to be confused with Mad Dog. What was the name of that drink?
Drinking game?
We
No,
have
it's-
a Mad Dog sauce on
We
our
do have Mad Dog
menu.
wings downstairs. My favorite.
Is
I
it
fought
not
hard for spicy wings.
Is it not a Mad Dog 2020?
Yeah. No.
Or is that too similar to that name?
It's too similar to that name. I forget what it was called. What was that called?
How
Anyway.
spicy is our sauce?
I mean, I would like it spicier, but it's a good spicy for people that
I'm
like
staying-
spicy
I'm
but
staying away.
don't like too spicy.
I'm staying away. Sounds too
You
spicy.
can handle it.
Sounds too spicy.
Step up.
All right, coming in from Mr. Stewie.
I love these.
Super sticker. Hippo character applauds whilst nodding in approval, saying, Capital G, capital G.
That's amazing.
Stands for good game, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Well, thank you for
Yes.
that hippo sneezing sticker.
All right, coming in from
Sneezing.
Steve. I'm
Was he
going
not
to
sneezing?
need
Oh.
somebody to explain to me why it made sense to do anything other than kneel at the end.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll explain.
yeah. And I'm happy you
first-
asked this, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for the super
And
chat,
thank
by the
you.
way. They had 3 timeouts, and so what was there, 38 seconds left on the
Yep.
clock? So 3 knees, best case scenario, takes off 12 seconds.
Yeah, best.
You could probably do the, like, run around and zigzag thing, but there's way too much time on the clock to do that. So you're going to snap it in knee, which is going to be 3 straight knees, and I'm saying 12 seconds generously.
yeah.
Probably 8 seconds.
Yep.
So you got 30 seconds, and you got to punt the ball back for him. If you run the ball and you get a first down, the game's over.
Yep.
Bar none, end of game, period. So that's why, you cannot coach because you don't believe in your team to hold on to the frickin' football.
Right. Yeah. That you can't coach that scared.
Right.
And that's
or
exactly
you will
what
lose.
that would be.
It'll come
Yep.
to bite you.
Yep.
Now, you can make the case of 30 seconds, no timeouts, and if you trust Sam Martin, the ball inside the 20 on the other side, that's extremely difficult. But you never, ever, ever want to give them an opportunity to get the football back. If you personally can control that, you want to take away their opportunity to get the football back, end the game with the ball in your hands. Now, if this comes up again, Vic Fangio's going to have to think twice.
Yeah.
Because he can't trust his players to hold on to the damn football at this point. But yeah, 3 knees would have guaranteed another possession for the football team, whereas running the ball and getting a first down guarantees that they don't get another.
Who do you trust as a running back to turn to and hand the ball to now?
Mike Boone.
In that situation, do you? Because you know how many touches Mike Boone has this year?
0.
Zero. I mean, what are they doing with him too? Everything we saw in training camp was a lie. I mean, it's just crazy how he was inactive last week.
He got a snap today, I believe.
One snap. Yeah.
Put him in
I think
motion again?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think he did the fake handoff about 5
He
yards
loves
after
those.
Teddy.
No, I
He
don't
loves
think
those.
he did. He lined up in the shotgun, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Oh, yes, he did, and then did not touch the ball. But now it's a good question, something you have to think of what do we do? Who do we trust?
Andrew Beck?
No. 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 And guys, this conversation just reminded me of Teddy tripping. Actually, he got stepped on by Lloyd Cushenberry, and it looked like he just fell all over himself and then was on the ground. And
I think that was on the bad foot, too.
Yeah.
So I was really worried about that.
that was that play just, I had to laugh. It was so bad. It was so sad.
There's a lot of, play yakety sax and
Yes, there
whatever
was.
the theme song to Bad News Bears
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Should have just been like 3 hours of yakety sax.
Yeah.
Maybe next week for the Cowboys. And
All
get
right,
going at the bar.
We did get a follow-up question to Mad Dog Super Chat.
think
If
it
you
is
could
Mad
go
Dog
back in
2020.
time and change something, would you not fire Shanahan in 08 or not bench Plummer in 06?
Ooh,
Wow.
Chase something. So you get to choose one of those two?
I think, yeah.
I stick with Shanahan because I'm of the belief that the Shanahan and Cutler combo is eventually going to click in a big way. I've always felt that way since the day the move happened. I always thought, man, I just think you gave up on Shanahan Plummer too early. But I also understand at the time, sometimes things just get stale and you have to make moves. But the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah, no, and it was very clear where that team was going. It was going to go to Jay Cutler, so you make the move, you got to do it. So I understand that, even though you kind of lost the team that season, which stinks. But I don't even know if I want to keep Shanahan because then we wouldn't have had Tebow.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have McDaniels, which would have been really nice. But then
We
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have Manning.
Tebow, wouldn't
Exactly.
have Peyton.
Exactly.
But could you have won one with Cutler and Shanny?
I'm not
I
touching.
think you could have.
I'm not touching anything because the Broncos got a Super Bowl.
That's typically Ryan's
Things
philosophy.
worked
That is
out.
my philosophy.
Things
But
worked out.
I had to choose one. So
If you had to
Right.
choose.
Yeah, you're sticking with Shanny.
Me too.
Especially because then you avoid McDaniels.
right.
Plus, you traded Jay Cutler and got some things back.
A lot of things.
A Kyle Orton back.
So that.
a
Yeah,
lot
that
of
part of it. but yeah, I stick with Shanahan.
What was the Broncos' record in Vic's first year?
They were 7-9. Isn't that with when Vic came in or Drew came in and went 4-1 at the end?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
All right, coming up.
I was gonna go. I don't wanna go down that road.
5897. Who was our best corner tonight? Nice play by whoever filled Callahan's spot tonight. That was Nate Hairston.
Yeah.
The best corner tonight has been the best corner in the last few weeks. He's the best corner on the team. He's one of the better corners in the NFL.
Yeah.
His name is Pat Surtain.
Yeah, he made it. That pass breakup that he made, the diving one, was amazing,
He's
and
so
he was
good.
shut down all night, guys. He really should have got a helmet sticker.
Yeah, what are we doing?
And the reason is because you don't talk
Fire
about
us.
him.
Yep.
You don't talk about him.
Right,
So
the best
that's
ones-
Why. Yep.
Start going more quietly and more quietly from game to game.
Yep.
But when the game was on the line and Taylor Heineke had no chance but to target him, he made the play.
He did. He absolutely did. So, yeah, without a doubt, it's number 2.
Yep, but Nate Hairston,
Yeah, shout out number 27.
well done. Could
Yeah.
have maybe got called for PI, but didn't. That's all that matters.
Didn't really turn around for it. Probably should have got called.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about whether or not you make that contact, right?
Yep.
And I think he was on the safe side of that. But yeah, what's the word? Either way, helmet sticker to Pat Surtain.
All right, and last one coming in from Richard. Would a Kenny Young and Baron Browning base be a better run D? I think that was
That's
the
what
base
it
today.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, by a long shot, it
Yeah.
really was.
And
Now-
guys, imagine when Baron Browning is practicing
he's
for
doing.
more than a week and knows what he's doing. Imagine when Kenny Young is on the team for more than 6 days.
Yep.
I'm not expecting all World Pro Bowl play from these guys, but I could see a situation where you say these guys and at least the run are really good and able to get the job done. And then you have this talented secondary where you hope to not have Baron Browning having to cover guys out of the backfield, because that was a little tough today for Baron.
Yep.
It was really tough.
That was the last one? All right. This has been an awesome show. I think I feel better. Like, sometimes you just have to sit here and talk about things and process it all a little bit. The Broncos won today. They're 4-4.
It's not college football. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
Yeah.
All that matters is what the record says. And right now the record says very average football team. They're going to go one way or the other.
And that's the thing is I don't feel great about this team. No one does.
No.
But what they have done through the first 8 weeks of the season is bought themselves an opportunity.
Yep.
The opportunity is absolutely in front of them to get it figured out. Now, again, we always doubt that it's going to get figured out until it gets figured out. And so right now, of course, I doubt that they're going to figure it out and turn it around and become a good football team. But the opportunity does exist. And maybe it is, one move away. This is kind of a bad example, but it stands to reason. The Buffs fired their offensive line coach this week. And then next week, the next week, their offensive line played much better. So maybe you fire your offensive coordinator, and next week your offense plays much better. There are tweaks to be made, and you are in a position as the Denver Broncos to make those tweaks and them actually be meaningful. Everything that you set out to accomplish this season is still accomplishable. So I'm with everyone. It was a bad win over a bad team and they were poorly coached and they performed poorly. I don't feel good about it either. Mm-hmm. What you can feel good about is this thing is going to go two ways from here. They're going to figure it out and things are going to get back on the rails and it'll be a fun ride, or it's going to go where everyone thinks it's going to go and you're going to get that fresh start that you're looking for.
I hope it goes one of those two ways. I really do. There is a middle ground, guys, and the middle ground is the worst. I hope
There
you
isn't
guys are
anymore.
right.
There is no 8-8. You got to get 9-8.
There is no 8-8, but the Broncos would be dreaming of 8-8 right now, Hank. 8-8's amazing.
But what I'm saying is either they're going to figure it out and start winning games, or they're not, and they have a tough schedule, so they're going to lose a lot of games.
And I hope that's what it is. I hope they don't have a couple surprises here and there
Right.
to get them to 8 and 9.
Beat the Lions and Eagles and then surprise the Chargers.
Yeah.
But again, now you're up to 7
Exactly.
wins.
And
So,
you look at the playoffs right now. If this holds and the Chiefs win, every single team in the NFL that is above 500 will be in playoff position. Every team that isn't won't be. And the Broncos are a half game away. They just need to do a tiny, smallest amount better, and they could make the playoffs still.
that is my plea to Vic Fangio as to why you should make changes after a win. You won the game, and because you won the game, you still have a dream of fixing this and saving your job. But you gotta act fast. This opportunity isn't gonna be in front of you forever. Now he might be able to make the case of, well, yeah, we're gonna lose next week and win the next week, and we're gonna be right where we are right now, heading into the bye, and then I have more time to fix this thing. But to me, pull the emergency parachute, pull out your last ditch effort right now. You're 4-4. You have an opportunity to save your coaching career as a head coach. make the move.
But here's maybe how Vic views it on the opposite side, Ryan, is why would he pull the emergency cord when he's gliding right now? He finally just caught that nice wind and is gliding. Why is he reaching out for help right now?
That would be ignorance.
And that's what I'm just saying, the opposite end, because I agree with you about what they should do. And guys, the Broncos are only half game out of second place in the AFC West right now, thanks to the Chargers blowing it again. Now they've lost 2 in a row. Broncos 4-4, Chargers 4-3, Raiders 5-2. Broncos are crazy enough right in it for as bad as this past month has been.
Never forget, the Chargers will always charger. And also don't forget that MSU Denver Online is the single best place you can go to get an online education in Colorado. They are awesome. They've got 750 total online programs and 45 online and hybrid programs. So check out all they have to offer. Head on over to msudenver.edu/online and get yourself an awesome education. And again, if you need to work a full-time job, MSU Denver students work twice as many hours as students attending any other Colorado institution because they make it so convenient for you to get that degree. But for tonight, after a Broncos win, that wraps it up for a DNVR Broncos Winners Lounge.
Yay!
We'll see you guys later.